This is Damon Point Beach, actually out on ocean shores. So some people have been asking about how to identify agates. How are they different than other rocks on the beach? And so just look down and you'll see that some of the rocks are typically the browns or the grays, but agates they almost look like they're glass. They're glass-like rock formations that are created inside of volcanic rock or in host rock, and then they're like silica that pours in over many, many years into a host type volcanic rock, and it forms this clear, very translucent type of rock, very hard substance. And so they're typically not as smooth as the other rocks on the beach, but they're very, very clear and translucent. So you can see how they are much more, you can see the light through it. It's a very small agate. They're very beautiful on the beach. So walking along, you just look down at all of these areas that have gravel beds, and so you just have to look for things that are very shiny, that are very translucent, and there's an agate. So as you look at all of the beds, you'll notice just lots of different rocks, various whites ones and grays and browns, but the translucent quality of the agate really stands out. So just a little careful examination of the gravel beds going down Damon Point Beach, and you come across some really amazing agates like this that may just be sitting in these gravel beds. Lots of people will pass them by and not see them, but they really stand out if you look carefully at this agate. It has lots of various types of pitting, very, very opaque or very, very translucent. As you look at it, it's basically was silica poured into a host rock, a volcanic rock, and all the surrounding rock is eroded away, and it was washed in the creeks and the rivers and down onto the beaches. And so here at Damon Point, because it sticks out into Gray's Harbor, it's like a large rake or just a fan that's just raking it all in, that's being blown out into the ocean. And so this particular piece of agate is carnelian, kind of a yellowish amber, and with all the various kind of pitting on there. So as you compare it to a regular piece of rock on the beach, which is maybe like basalt like this, or the quartz, which are much whiter, but they're all basically much more smoothed out by the wave action on the beach. And so quartz, basalt, and then carnelian agate. Quite different in what they look like and as you would identify them on the beach, but you can definitely make them out. So look at the quartz, look at the basalt. You might even find some small pieces of red jasper out here. There's a little bit of jasper right there, reddish jasper, another piece right there. But the agate definitely stands out. So as you look at it, it's very translucent. It's just nothing like it. It's like a big piece of glass on the beach. Very beautifully formed. So here's another agate on the beach. It just, when you look at it, it has a little bit of the colorations or banding on the inside of it. So this is one of the differences between regular rocks, regular quartz, regular basalt. You have this type of banding inside of the rock itself, which identifies it as an agate, because it was basically silica that was deposited inside of that host rock or volcanic rock over many years, so it created the banding look. So this is one of the identifying marks. Here's another agate. See a little bit of lines, a little bit of banding in it. Translucence. So here's a really nice agate. Just came upon it on the beach, sitting here, not really buried in a gravel bed or anything, just a very rock-strewn, sandy beach area here, and toward the end of Damon Point. It's a very large very large agate there. About 1.5 inches across. Notice the different lines, the different embedded strata inside of it, giving different colorations. And so, might call it inclusions. Doesn't have a whole lot of pitting. It's been on the beach a long time. It's been fairly smooth. A lot of the rough edges that are formed sometimes from the inside of the host rock, the volcanic rock, have been all smoothed off because of the tumbling action on the beach. It's been here a long time. Sometimes agates are kind of hard to identify. They don't necessarily stand out so easily on the beach, and they may look like lots of other rocks. And so here's one that I just picked up. I found it, put it right back where I found it, but it's actually an agate. It looks like many other rocks. It would blend in, but you have to look at it. Sometimes if you see, your eye catches the translucent nature of it. This particular one, when looked at on the beach, you couldn't really tell at first glance whether it had banding on it, it had the pitting on the outside of it, or it had any kind of the inclusions on the inside of it. Inclusions are kind of like the discolored or dark markings on the inside. Sometimes you see in moss agate or different kinds of forms of agates. Here's another one right there. And there's another one right there. So here's a collection of agates that were picked up today on Damon Point Beach at Ocean Shores. And so it's important to understand that, you know, an actual agate is different than a piece of actual quartz. And quartz is a similar type of rock formation, but the actual agate is made by silica that's hardened inside of actual rock. That's actually volcanic rock. Inside crevices, cracks, or even geodes are formed inside of actual air pockets. But you'll see the banding that goes on. You see the rough edges, the actual indentions that are made, the pitting they called it. Whenever agates are formed, or these type of Chalcedony that's formed, they call it Chalcedony also is another form that rock hounds call it. But after being on the beach a long time, they might be very rounded like this. But the actual quartz that you'll see out here on the beach is a little bit different. It's not as opaque. It's much more opaque. That is, not as translucent. It's a more difficult to see through substance. It's not as finely grained. A lot of the other rocks you'll see on the beach are the basalts. They're the gray or the black to gray material, and so the agates are the ones that are clear, that are translucent. They have the little bumps, the little edges on them that are called the pitting. And so this is what you need to look for when you're out on the beach. Well, just a final note about agate hunting and identifying the agates out on Damon Point Beach in Ocean Shores. If you'd like more information about getting and finding the location of the Damon Point Beach in Ocean Shores, please consult my website. That's PNW for Pacific Northwest, pnwbeachcombing.com. That's pnwbeachcombing.com. You'll find field reports about Damon Point Beach, Ocean Shores, and many other beaches in the Pacific Northwest, on the Olympic Peninsula, and in the actual Puget Sound region of the Kitsap Peninsula. That day, just after a few hours of looking for the agates on the beach, actually it was yesterday, I did find a few extra orbicular jasper. That's jasper with the round orbs on it. It's called orbicular jasper. A few seashells and a few pieces of sea glass. The best beach to find sea glass actually in the Pacific Northwest is over on Glass Beach, right off of the North Beach area of Port Townsend. But this area of Ocean Shores on the Damon Point Beach is one of the best places up in the Washington State area that I've found actually agates on the beach. And if you're looking for beach agates that have been tumbled and actually deposited up on a beach, that would be Damon Point Beach. Have a great time and looking for agates and sea glass.